core report. Our premium core plays have been hitting big this past week, and we wanted to recap the recent action. BigT led the way with a 150K PGA shipper to start the week. Tony shared his early guy player pool in the premium Discord before lock, benefiting our members and peppering the leaderboards with RPS logos.
Oh, Stevie Boyden called me a dickhead too? You didn't say that part, man. I just saw that in there.
Hoop followed up in MLB with a 100K hit of his own. Hoop hit with his core, which went off for our subscribers as well. Finally, Draft Sheet added a big 50K single bullet hit of his own in the MLB afternoon slate, and we got to witness him sweating out the final moments live on our premium final countdown show.
Yes. There it is.
There we go, DC.
DC with the shit.
That's what we do, baby. What was the total? How much total did you have in?
$47 to win.
$47? That's going to be a legendary screenshot.
The Discord was on fire with members riding with DC, proving once again nobody comes close to picking winners like the Run Pure squad.
It was the core on the site too, obviously, because you only played because of that. So the members had to smash too.
Oh yeah, I saw a bunch of members up there.
Our subscriptions are more valuable than ever with our premium Print Fest Friday Night Fireworks, where we broadcast all of our shows for members only every Friday. And speaking of members, congrats to all of our members who have been crushing it in July. Nike hit for 14K in MLB, TAJ 50-50 hit for 25K in MLB, Nuggets 33 had a 20K shipper in MLB, Michael Smith hit for 20K in MLB too. Finally, T-Zur joined the party, shipping a 20K hit of his own. Meanwhile, Nico H22 hit for 10K in NBA Summer League DraftKings contest with an assist from the great content Rubio and Kurt Jones have been providing. If you haven't subscribed yet, get it now by using the promo code RPSHeater25 to knock 25% off your first payment on a weekly or monthly subscription. Get it now and find out why our logos are consistently all over the leaderboard.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Run Pure Sports MLB Swing for the Fences show. I am your host, Mangone. I am here with the boys. We got Hoop, we got Gary, we got PGA going on too. We got it all here at Run Pure Sports for you guys. We got NBA Summer League. Everything's happening, but we got a nice little MLB slate that we got to discuss with you guys. We got a nice core slate, some good pitching up top. So a lot of things to discuss, but seems like a pretty straightforward slate. Before we kind of dive into that, Hoop, why don't you tell the people a little bit about some of the PJ stuff that we have over here at Run Pure Sports? Obviously, we got the show that you did yesterday. We had all the content up and running. It's a big major week, and someone's got to win a milli over here at Run Pure. So how's your day? And tell the people a little bit about some of the PGA stuff we got coming up here.
Yeah, I've been digging into PGA most of the day. Today I had to cut the grass. It was on the list, and it just kept raining on and off. So I was going, taking breaks from cutting the grass when I got rained out to come in the house and research some more PGA. But yeah, we're looking forward to this event. All our premium content starting to roll out now. The cash chart is up on the website. We have some tiers already posted, a few cores already in there, and then the playbook's done. Like you said, we did the show last night, me, AP, and Snyder, and then the guys just did the premium show, Big T, Uncle T, and Tambo that just wrapped up. That is available on the website. And then I think we're going to roll out another premium show again tonight. We talked about before. You can let the people know about that, which I think will be a big hit. So it's a huge week here. The last major prize pools are massive. They're already filling up quite quickly. So if you want to get in, you need to get in pretty quickly here. And then they're rolling out secondary big tournaments as well. So it's going to be a massive week. Really looking forward to it.
I'm a donkey and I'm on mute, but I was about to say that Skywalker DFS, he's in the chat. He said he shipped the FanDuel slate yesterday. So congrats to you on that. You did mention we're going to roll out a nice little, up the lock kind of premium show for you guys tonight. So if you are a member at Run Pure Sports, you'll be able to get access to that. And it's going to be like, if you've seen in the past, let's say you've been a member here at Run Pure Sports, you've seen us kind of do some of those Brady Bunch like shows. We got like all those different boxes. We'll definitely have Big T there. I know Hoop said he's going to pop in, and whoever else wants to, obviously. So we'll have a bunch of people people jumping in and out of the show. I'm sure Tambo will be there and all the people, because we're going to be sweating up the lock, right? Trying to figure out what we're going to do, see if there's any weather edges. So we'll be in the Discord chat as well, answering your questions. Also on the bet side, if you're not a, Run Pure Bet subscriber on the YouTube channel, you can check out. We're going to have a good time. Me, Uncle T, Snyder, he'll be there with his soldiers as usual. We got Allie, JJ. We'll be talking some bets and some DFS as well. So be sure to come and hang out and, talk some PGA with us. But we got some baseball to discuss. Gary, let's go over to you. How's the day going? And are you excited about this baseball slate?
Yeah, day's not going as well as I had hoped. The chalk hit on the early slate. I did not play 60% on Juan Soto, and he hit a bomb. So we move on to the next slate here tonight, which I like pretty much. I like it pretty good here tonight. We got finally some really good pitching options, limited hitting options, but I think we can find a couple spots here to get us to the top.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear what those are, because it's definitely a rough slate for sure. I think it's good because we have the Padres and we have the Yankees, but from there, the bats really drop off, right? But that's what's going to make it interesting. That's what's going to be intriguing about what offenses are other people to go to. What's going to be loaned? Will there be more ownership on Coors because of that? So that's what makes it really interesting. Adds in a little more game theory to the slate. But before we kind of dive in and talk about all of that, guys, if you could please like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Helps us out a ton here over here at Run Pure Sports. We appreciate it. Of course, we want to give you guys, those plays of the day. And the way we do it is we kind of get those likes up. So push those home. Also, if you do subscribe, be sure to check out JT's new pod. I think he had Big T on with him talking about, just different things going on in baseball. So if you're a baseball guy, you'll like that. Check that out here over on the channel. Also, if you are going to sign up to check out the golf show later, check out all the golf content and check out the MLB content that we have for you guys, the core plays, the playbook. Use that code RPSHeater25, gets you 25% off your first payment. So be sure to check all that out. And if you do get that, you get to jump into the Discord chat and you get all these great calls from people. You get to watch the premium shows with JSU and DC to get all of their takes. Also, if you are a best ball guy, let's say you've been drafting a ton of stuff, what are you doing not using that code RUNPURE? When you do use that, you get a $100 match deposit bonus. So be sure to use that. But time to dive in and talk about these pitchers, because there's a lot of good ones on this slate. A lot of options above that 9K range. The first guy up, Shane McClanahan. He's been amazing this year, but he gets a very difficult matchup against the Boston Red Sox. It is a nice park for him, though, so that's obviously a bump in his favor. He is a lefty, so some of these power righties you get concerned about, but the ball can definitely die in Tampa. And Hoops talked about it a lot. When the Red Sox are at home, he likes playing them, but on the road, he doesn't. So this seems like a spot that I think Hoop will like McClanahan a lot. You also got Zach Wheeler at 9.7K. You got Musgrove, who he's in Coors Field. And I was with DC on Monday night, and I talked to Sean Manaea, and Sean Manaea, he said, hey, pitching in Coors Field, it's overrated. Yeah, so maybe we do play some Musgrove today. I'm not sure. So I thought that was an interesting point that he brought up. And Musgrove against those righties, that's where Colorado has its struggle. So maybe he's a contrarian option. Maybe it's Tony Gonsolin, who's been crushing all year long. Christian Javier, who just played against the Angels 2 weeks ago and had 45 DK points. You got Justin Steele with the wind blowing in. You got Severino against the Reds. Otani, who's just been a beast all year. You have so many good options for 9K and above. I just keep rattling them off over and over. Hoop, I talked about McClanahan at the top, so discuss him and discuss all these other 9K options, because like I just did there really fast, I feel like you can just make a case for almost any of these pitchers here, but they do have some question marks as well. Like I said before, McClanahan going against those Boston power righties. So what's your overall take on the pitching up at the top?
Yeah, so it's the slate overall where the pitching, it's so solid. There's so many good pitchers here, and then the hitting, we're struggling to find options on the hitting side. So pitching at the top is just loaded. Like you said, you start with McClanahan, who's just been phenomenal all season long, has a 10K price tag. You look at the game log, he's only been under 20 fantasy points once in his last 15 starts or something. Just has to be the safest guy. And we've been talking about it. Like you said, Boston, yeah, when they're at home, you don't really want to mess with them. But when they're on the road, specifically in pitcher ballparks, I have no problem taking pitchers against them. I look at this lineup, and it doesn't look that strong. I'm cool, going with McClanahan. The team total for the Red Sox is sitting at 3. So Vegas does not project them to score many runs at all. The game total sitting at 7. I think McClanahan is the safest option. Now, do you have to play McClanahan? Is he a lock? No, because of everything else we have right below him. Zach Wheeler at 9.7, probably the guy that's out for me because of this matchup in Toronto. Toronto's an offense, when they're at home, I don't like to pick on him. And yes, Wheeler's been good, but I think we're going to see some really big boy performances at the pitcher position. So Wheeler's a guy that I'll be out on. Mania, that was cool though. That you guys got to meet with him, and I saw the picture DC posted. Still not going to go with Musgrove here in Colorado. However, I will say that Rockies lineup came out and it just looks like shit. I mean, without CJ Cronin there, this lineup just looks awful. So if you were looking to play Musgrove, I think this is the right lineup to kind of, go in on him on. So not going to do it though, not for me. The next guy up for me, Christian Javier, has just been absolutely phenomenal. Gets this matchup here against the Angels that could be much better tonight, depending on what happens with Trout. I believe he left the game early last night. If he's out here tonight, I think Javier is probably the number one guy for me. He's been so good, massive upside. Coming off a relatively down performance against Kansas City, but still got 7 strikeouts. Prior to that, 14 against the Angels, 13 against the Yankees. If this lineup is, without Mike Trout tonight, I think he just absolutely rolls. Then you got Ohtani at 9-1, who is also too cheap in my opinion. Again, a boosted matchup for him without Alvarez in there for Houston. I mean, without Yordan Alvarez, you look at this lineup for the Astros, it's not all that intimidating. So this tier up here is just absolutely loaded. Very curious to see kind of where Gary's thoughts are on all this.
Yeah. Thought you brought up a lot of great points there on these pitchers. I mean, again, it's loaded up top. So kind of want to get your take on that. Also, Christian Javier, he's got a nice 7.5 strikeout prop, right? And one thing I kind of like about him that I wanted to mention, and I kind of talked about it a little bit in my 3 max stuff, is like, let's say you like Ohtani today, which people will love Ohtani, and it's a good spot for him, but you can make the argument Houston's not a team you pick on. Well, let's say you're on Ohtani and you feel like you're behind. You can make a quick pivot over to a Christian Javier, who I think is just going to be lower owned. Maybe it's not going to be a huge gap, but it's still something that you can do that can kind of like help get you back to the top of leaderboards if you want to, if you're like, kind of struggling. Let's say your bats aren't moving right away. Certainly can make that pivot later on in the night. So that's a little bit of strategy that I talked about in my single entry 3 max breakdown there. Because again, I think Ohtani gains a lot of ownership on this slate because he always does at this price tag, just every single time, even though it's Houston. And we know Houston can get a hold of him. And what could happen is Christian Javier goes out there and throws 30 DK points. And we've seen Ohtani get negatives before. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but he definitely has the ability to do that and just not be on some nights. So Gary, let's go over to you though, because Hoop said he wanted to hear what your breakdown is at pitcher. I'm assuming McClanahan is the number 1 guy for you. Want to get your take on the guys 9K and above, though. Who are some of the options that you're looking at here on this slate?
Yeah, so first, I think I'm going to start with who I'm not going to play. I think Musgrove is interesting. His strikeout rate is just not up there with the rest of these guys and the risk in Coors Field. I don't really see a need to do it. If we had a slate where we didn't have all these studs on it, I think I would be more willing to do so, even at the 5% projected ownership. So I'm out on him, also out on Wheeler, also out on Gonsolin, and also out on Justin Steele. I don't know why that guy's 9,200, but yeah, definitely not on those guys. But the interesting thing for me when I first opened up the slate today was Shane McClanahan. I mean, I'm seeing massive ownership on him. I mean, for good reason, like Hoop said. I mean, he's going to win the Cy Young going away. If he keeps pitching like this season. So I see it, but he's not going to be my number 1 guy tonight. He probably won't make my main lineup. I'm just not going to – I like 2 of these other guys down low a little bit for a reduced ownership, 44%. I'm not going to eliminate him, of course, but I will be underweight on him. I think my favorite guy is Christian Javier, like both of y'all said. Really like him tonight. I doubt Trout makes the lineup. Even with Trout in the lineup over the last couple of weeks, the Angels have the 2nd highest strikeout rate, bottom 2 in WRC plus over the last 2 weeks, and that's with Trout. So taking him out, and oh boy, it should be a really big strikeout fest. Not to mention, they had one of the most pitcher-friendly empires in CB Bucknor in that game as well. So love both pitchers in that game. Like you mentioned there, Mangone, 7.5K prop for Javier. The same prop as Shane McClanahan. Basically the same juice, maybe a little bit on the plus side here for Javier, but I think he gets it pretty easily here. And the next guy I really like is Severino in the spot at home against Cincinnati. 6.5K prop, 9,200. So yeah, I think my 2 favorites are going to be Javier and Severino, and then Ohtani, and then McClanahan, just because, I think these 3 down here have the potential to match or exceed McClanahan at a much lower ownership and price tag. So that's how I would rank the top here.
All right. Yeah, McClanahan, I think he's my number one. I guess I'm probably putting Severino maybe 2 and then Ohtani 3. That's kind of my rankings. Maybe I should put Javier in there a little higher. It's definitely something I'm going to think about a little bit as we kind of get closer to lock. Hoop, what's your rankings here on the guys above 9K?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm going to go Javier number 1. I mean, Gary sounds pretty certain that Trout will be out, and yeah, that even if Trout's in, he's a great play. If Trout's out, he is like just an extraordinarily great play. So Javier 1, and then I'll say Ohtani 2, and then McClanahan. But I'm going to play all these guys tonight, man. Like two of these guys are having massive performances. Like there's no way around it. I mean, you're going to need probably 50 plus maybe at your pitcher spots to win tonight. I think 2 of these guys could easily get to 30, which is a big boy score. So I want exposure to all these guys at the top that we kind of hit on.
Yeah, I didn't know if you're going to make the Big T claim. 2 of the pitchers will at least get over 40 DK points, like that one time we were.
Yeah, that was wild. Yeah, and then the guy that actually did it was the one he made fun of us about, freaking Patrick Corbin.
Yeah, it was great. So that was too good. So that's why I thought you were going to drop the 40 bomb. Like
not the 40. He went for 40 each. Like, yeah, I mean, that was wild.
It was a very high number. But speaking of a cheap pitcher like Patrick Corbin, he's not at that price, but we got to talk about a couple guys down here. We got to discuss them, right? Lucas Giolito against Cleveland. It's certainly in play. It's not my favorite on this slate. I don't know if it's the right slate to do it, but it's there. He's going to be way lower owned than John Gray. And I think John Gray is a guy at 7.7K. I might consider ranking above some of these other pitchers at the top, just because even if he was like 8.5K or even if he was at 9K, I would consider playing him because he's against Oakland here. And Oakland, they did just put up 14 runs, but this game is in Texas. I mean, this is a pretty good spot here for John Gray. I don't know how we ignore it. The rest of the guys, like you could make an argument for Josh Winkowski for Boston, right? Against Tampa, in Tampa, but not dying to play him. Ross Stripling against Philly. Yeah, there could be some upside there. If you wanted to punt all the way down to Aaron Savale, you could definitely see him get the job done against the White Sox. But for me, John Gray is like the only cheap pitcher that I'm really considering. Hoop, let's go to you next on this one. How do you rank John Gray in there? Are there any other pitchers that you like for cheap? Because you love this 9K range and you're going to spread it out. So is it just John Gray? And if it is just John Gray, how do you rank him against the other pitchers?
Yeah, I'm going to keep it very simple and easy for you. The only other pitcher I'm playing is John Gray on the slate at 7.7. I like him a bunch. I think he's the only guy under 9K that could potentially match the 9K guys like you hit on. And, the salary savings does go a long way, when, especially on the slate where we have 2 offenses that are clearly above everyone else. They're pretty darn expensive. I guess you're still going to get some cheap bats with the Padres, but that savings could go a long way. $14, $15, $16, $1,700, whatever it is, that could go a long way. John Gray could certainly match those guys up top in his matchup against Oakland. So he's really the only other guy that I'm considering. Giolito, I think, is a guy that will get some ownership. I just really prefer Gray over him. I mean, the Indians lineup can be a little bit the Guardians lineup can be a little bit pesky at times. I'll just take that better matchup with John Gray and kind of move on. But, we are fine always, going down low at pitcher and playing cheap guys. Today's an exception where you're going to need big boy points at pitcher. You're not going to be able to get by with a pitcher getting you 12 fantasy points, or in my case last week, the negative 8.15. Like, that's never happening on the slate. So you need big boy points. If you're playing a pitcher, you have to envision him going out there and getting you at least 25 fantasy points or something like that. So just John Gray for me below the 9K guys.
All right. What about you, Gary? Is it just John Gray? Is Savale in play? I mean, the full punt. It just doesn't seem like the right slate to do it. I think it's really just John Gray for me. How about you?
We're all in lockstep here. I don't think there's any need to go down here in this dumpster down here. I'm definitely not playing Savale. I have interest in White Sox bats. Shocker. But yeah, John Gray is, over the last month, looking over his last month stats, he's got a 28% strikeout rate, 4% walk rate, 2.97 Sierra, just been really good. Gets a really good matchup here at home against Oakland. So I know they've scored some runs in that stadium in the last couple games, but I think that comes to a halt here tonight, and John Gray is going to post up a pretty big score. So, yeah, no other guys for me in this cheap range, and I would probably rank him. Point per dollar, I'm going to probably play him over Shane. I know that might be crazy to say, but I like the savings with John Gray over Shane McClanahan. So he'd probably be like third behind Javier and Ohtani for me.
All right. Well, we got 400 watching. Hoop, we got 109 likes. So listen, we got to get those up, right? I mean, that's just a hurtful start. That's almost we're going to ratio it pretty hard, it feels like. I don't like this. So what's your thoughts here, Hoop? What are the likes we're going to have to get to by the end of the show?
Need 3 bills. We need 300. Holden's kind of set that bar, and I think it's a good one to work towards. If we don't get there, we'll put the plays of the day in the Discord chat, and our members will be very happy about that. So that's what we need. 300.
All right, well, let's get those 300 likes home. That way we can give out those plays of the day for the people. We got a bunch of games we still got to break down. We still got a ton to talk about. I do want to mention, again, we got a ton of PGA content over here at Run Pure Sports. It's a big major week, so you guys are going to want to obviously get in on the PGA DFS stuff. We got core plays. We got the tiers. We got it all for you here over at Run Pure Sports. So go check it all out. And also, Hoop did a show yesterday with Snyder. You can check that out tonight. We had a premium show with Big T and Tambo. That's another thing you can check out. You can go to the Run Pure Bet side at 7 p.m. Eastern. Watch and hang out with us. We like to do a lot of laughs. We like to give out some winners as well. So be sure to check all that out. And then we're going to have a premium show late tonight at midnight Eastern and just kind of, lead us up the lock, lead you guys up the lock, answer your questions, just talk in the chat. Who knows? There could be a weather edge too as well. Hoop, here's a quick question for you. Maybe the people who are watching want to know, and that, not just MLB guys here. Everyone likes to play DFS here. Is there any weather edge this week? Is that something to watch for tonight later on the show that people need to tune in for?
Yeah, we've seen some pretty significant advantages last couple of weeks. This week, it doesn't look like it's going to be anything major. Maybe a slight advantage to guys teeing off early Thursday. But the thing with, this course is it changes so quickly. The guys in Discord have been posting the updates all throughout the day, and it keeps kind of flipping back and forth. Obviously, you watch that Up to Lock show tonight, part of our premium product, and we'll be talking about it a ton. Big T makes all his decisions very late in the evening. So you'll have all the up-to-date information. So, that's one more reason to head over to Run Pure Sports and make sure you're a member.
Yep. Go sign up. We'll obviously be talking tons of stuff here for PGA, tons of stuff for MLB as well. If there's any weather stuff, we got DC in the chat, always breaking that down. We'll have the premium show coming up next for you guys. So be sure to check that out. But we got to go in and break down the rest of these games and the bats. And here's the thing. You got to get those likes up because it's going to go quick. There's not a ton of offense that we love. And we're going to have to try and find offense to like. That's going to be one of those things we're going to have to do today on this slate. So we got the Reds and the Yankees. And the Yankees have pretty healthy total here. Lineup looks good too. I know over the past week or so, we haven't seen as much Aaron Judge in the lineup. And the lineups looked a little watered down. But we got DJ LeMahieu in the 1 hole, Aaron Judge 2, Rizzo 3, Giancarlo Stanton 4, Gleyber Torres 5, Donaldson 6, Kiner Falefa 7, Kyle H is what I like to call him because I'm not attempting that last name, 8, and then Joey Gallo 9. So definitely a better Yankees lineup, and they're against Mike Minor, who, yes, he can get some strikeouts at times, but he also can blow up. And when he gives up runs, the Yankees, what do? Though they hit home runs, right? Sometimes, when you get like 1 run scored by a team and it's just a single and it's an RBI, it's not worth it. But when you get Aaron Judge getting 14 and all these guys keep hitting home runs, those are the offenses I want to target. So on a slate where offense looks like it's going to be a little rough, maybe we want to target more home run bats. And maybe that's a reason to go to the Yankees over a team like the Padres today. Hoop, I'll go to you first because I do think this Yankees and Padres offense, they're like the 2 biggest talking points on the slate when it comes to the bats. My lean is, I think maybe to go to the Yankees over the Padres, just because I think everyone's going to go to the Padres. What's your kind of overall takeaway on how to handle this Yankees offense here on this slate?
Yeah, there's 2 offenses that are clearly way above everyone else in terms of projected output tonight, the Yankees and the Padres. Now we have the Yankees lineup out, standard lineup. Judge is in there, which is obviously a nice upgrade. Now, when stacking the Yankees, if you go in there and you play Judge, Rizzo, Stanton, Torres, Donaldson, you're going to be the same as a lot of other people. So you have to be willing to embrace some of these other guys. Our guy Kyle H at the bottom, like you said, maybe some Kiner Falefa. A lot of people like playing Torres over LeMahieu. Maybe go LeMahieu over Torres. you got to get kind of unique with the way you stack the Yankees. I'm going to be on the Yankees. I'm going to be heavy on the Yankees tonight. But you have to really think about what you're doing when you're stacking them. Be okay leaving money on the table too tonight. We're going to have some cheap bats in that Padres lineup. That's one way you can immediately differentiate yourself, is by leaving a good amount of salary on the table. Not, $100, $200, $300. Be willing to leave like $1,000 on the table. You're immediately going to be way, way different. So that's one way to get different. But man, yeah, the Yankees are in a really good spot here tonight. Very tough to nail down where you want to go on offense today. So Yankees for sure. I'm going to have a ton of exposure to.
Yep. Definitely the Yankees are in play and a good offense today. Gary, how about you? Are they a team you're fading? Are they a team you're playing? How are you handling the Yankees on this slate? Because again, we don't have a lot of bats that we're going to like. Like, we're going to get these next couple of games, Gary, and it's going to be like, I don't really want to roster them, but you're just going to have to try and think of like offense is the kind of play. So are the Yankees going to just gain too much ownership for your liking, or are you just going to kind of get exposure to them on this slate?
Yeah, I'm definitely jamming into the Yankees on this slate. I mean, just looking at the numbers for Minor on the season against right-handed bats, he's allowing a 350 ISO, 419 WOBA against right-handed bats, which is probably the worst in the league against right-handed bats. And this lineup is just full of right-handed bats. You might get Rizzo a little bit lower owned. Maybe the lefty on lefty scares people away. So don't be afraid to stick him in your stack. He does have a 276 ISO against left-handed pitching this year, so may get a little discount on the Rizzo. But yeah, I'll be having a ton of Yankees in my lineups, and I'm not even scared to go down to Gallo, who's going to be really low owned too, even though he's been terrible this year. He could pop up for a bomb every now and then. So yeah, definitely like the Yankees here.
Yeah, he's been doing a little better, at least, Gallo. So that's the one thing that's nice. And a hitter like him, he seems streaky. So it might not be a bad time to get on Joey Gallo. And he's dirt cheap, right? 2.7K. You can chip with a guy at 2.7, getting you 2 DK points for sure. It's definitely possible. So I think it's in play on this slate. But let's go on over to the next game. And it's the Phillies and the Blue Jays. And it's Zach Wheeler versus Ross Stripling. And like, the Phillies, they can strike out a ton. So I understand like Ross Stripling is a guy that could probably get through this lineup, but there are some big bats there, right? Kyle Schwarber, Rhys Hoskins, Nick Castellanos, Derek Hall. I mean, that 1 through 4, you can put it up against almost any 1 through 4 in the league, and you'd be pretty pleased with it. It's the bottom of the order that's a little rough, right? Stott, Verling, Gregorius, Munoz, and Stubbs. Not the greatest set down there. Hoop, is this a team that you are going to stack up here on this slate against Stripling as like a contrarian option? Or are you going to attack like Zach Wheeler? That doesn't feel comfortable, but they are the Toronto Blue Jays. They can hit almost anyone. And Zach Wheeler is a guy that obviously people don't love to pitch on this slate, but I don't think they're going to pick on him either.
Yeah, the problem with going with the Blue Jays, it's like you got to pay a premium for the big boy bats, and you're going to miss out on some pitching. So, I was fine being off Wheeler when we talked about pitching. That was just because of the other guys around him. I don't necessarily want to pick on him either, so not going to be on the Blue Jays. Do have slight interest in the Phillies, but it would be a concentrated group of guys like Kyle Schwarber, Derek Hall I like quite a bit, and then maybe go one of their cheap guys. Is Garrett Stubbs really 4.4K? Is that his price?
Yeah.
That's wild. No one's going to play him, but I'd be fine going like Schwarber, Derek Hall, and then like a cheap guy play Bryson Stott. Stott's actually not a bad option, batting 5th, 2.8K, second base and shortstop eligible. So yeah, it'd probably be 3-man Philly stacks. Slight interest, not a ton, but we do need offense. I mean, is everyone just going to play the Yankees and the Padres tonight? No. So you have to look elsewhere and find some other options. I think 3-man Philly stacks would be okay for me tonight.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely think they're in play. This is not news that matters to this slate, but it's really funny. And I think you guys will find it interesting for the next coming slates. For the Toronto series, we got a couple guys that can't play for Kansas City. No Whit Merrifield, no Andrew Benintendi, no Dozier, no Cam Gallagher, no MJ Melendez, Brady Singer, Brad Keller, Kyle Isbell, or Michael A. Taylor, or Dylan Coleman. So that KC lineup is going to be really, really
ridiculous.
Bad.
I mean, I don't want to. I mean, just so stupid. MLB should prohibit Toronto from hosting games if they're going to continue to do this shit. So stupid.
Yeah, it's definitely dumb. And I mean, over the weekend, take note, like if there's Kansas City's playing against Toronto on the slate, like almost any pitcher is going to be in play for it. Because brutal lineup. So we'll see how it shakes out with that, which has kind of been frustrating with this Phillies offense. That's why you don't have like a JT Realmuto in there. And that's maybe why Stubbs is 4.4K. Maybe there's just some weird algorithm issue there. But Gary, let's go over to you. Blue Jays and Phillies, 8 total. Is this a team that you want to target these bats? I kind of agree with Hoop on like the mini stack makes more sense, but what's your overall thoughts here, Gary?
Yeah, so first I'll start off on Toronto side. They fired their manager today out of the blue. So, I mean, maybe they have a little extra motivation. I guess he was not liked in the clubhouse that well. So maybe they come out here and get to Wheeler. If you want to play that angle, go ahead. I won't be doing it tonight. But yeah, so they are a team in flux without a permanent manager at the helm. So that always can motivate the lineup to do something that particular night. So not a narrative, like I said, not a narrative I'm attacking, but yeah. Philly side, same as Hoop. 2 or 3 man mini stack. I'm going to stick to Schwarber, to Hoskins. Probably not going to play Castellanos. He's just been awful this year. Derek Hall I like a lot, and Bryson Stott. Those same guys. And I'll have them available for mini stacks on this slate. But yeah, no Toronto for me.
All right, no Toronto for Gary there. Again, it's a good spot for these Phillies, I think. That's the one that I'm kind of gaining a little bit on him. Even maybe the 5-man could be interesting for it, the more I think about it, just because it's not going to be his own, right? And just kind of looking for, like, if you can get Kyle Schwarber, Rhys Hoskins, like Nick Castellanos and Derek Hall, like maybe below 10%. I mean, I'm interested in it. So curious to hear if that roof is open too. That's always a nice little bump for the hitters. But let's move on over to the next game. Let's talk about the Boston Red Sox and the Tampa Rays. And 7 total. So I assume, Hoop, you're not really going to have much interest in this game. What's your overall thoughts here on this one?
Yeah, not much. I mean, we're on McClanahan. We don't play Boston really, or at least I don't play Boston when they're on the road for the most part. So yeah, Boston's an easy fade for me. Tampa on the other side, I think there are some plays here. You get a full punt second baseman in Jonathan Aranda, 2K flat. If you want to stack up some of these big boy offenses and pay up at both your pitcher spots, you got a punt here, batting 5th. I think he's in play a little bit. I don't think many people will play Paredes, 4.5K. I think he's fine. So again, another team where I'm probably interested in a 3-man stack potentially, where I need some salary savings. Harold Ramirez at 3.5K, good price tags. A lot of guys in this lineup, very good price tags that would match well with like a full Yankee stack or a full Padre stack, and then still give you the ability to pay up at both your pitcher spots. So, 3-man stacks here I think would be okay.
Yeah, do think that's pretty interesting there, Hoop. What are you doing here, Gary? Thoughts on these Rays? I mean, Winkowski, not someone that is a great pitcher by any means. I don't think we're picking on McClanahan either, but these cheap Rays, you could make an argument for it, and their offense is getting a little better, right? Randy Arozarena, he was sitting in like the 4-hole earlier, right? And sometimes the 3-hole. Now he's sitting in the 6-hole. You got even Josh Lowe. I mean, yes, because he's not hitting in the 1-hole right now, but now he's hitting in the 8-hole. I mean, this lineup is definitely better. Do you think there are interesting value plays on this slate? What's your kind of thoughts here on that?
Yeah, like Hoop said, I hate to be a broken record here, but yeah, definitely like Tampa. Their prices are really nice. Even G-Man Choi at first base, 3,500. Not going to have any ownership. The catcher down at the 9-hole, 2,900. Really good price tag there. You can fit those 2 guys in, and then get you a nice 5-man Yankee stack, San Diego stack, whoever you want, basically, and get 2 pretty good pitchers. So yeah, I definitely like some 3-mans, 2 to 3-mans for the Rays, and I will not have any Boston tonight.
All right, on to the next game. Let's talk about the White Sox. Let's talk about the Guardians. We got an 8 total here, and Giolito versus Savale, and not really 2 guys I'm looking to pick on, but not ones I'm looking to roster either. So curious to hear what we're going to do here, because again, there's just a lot of good pitchers in the slate. We got to play some offenses. So Hoop, are the White Sox in play for you against Savale? Maybe you like the Guardians because Giolito can have his struggles at times. What's your thoughts here on this game, Hoop?
I'm going to keep playing the White Sox. Kind of been on them here for a while. Just like the way their lineup is kind of rounding into form a little bit. Looks like somebody out, or maybe they shuffle things around a little bit. But
their lineup is it goes Anderson, Moncada, Robert, Abreu, Jimenez, Vaughn, Pollock, Josh Harrison, and Sebi Zavalli. The only thing is there's no Gavin Sheets, which you just would like to see.
Love
in
my
there.
boy.
But
I knew something looked different. My guy Sheets isn't in there.
But it's more of a loaded lineup, right? That's kind of
Yeah.
why. So it's like you can't, when you have Jimenez, you have Robert, you have Pollock, it's like, well, only one of those guys between Vaughn and Sheets can DH. I think that's like the reason why they're doing it. Or maybe they have Abreu DHing. I forget which one it would be.
Yeah, I'm in on the White Sox here. I like their offense. You get Yan Makata batting second, still 3.1K. DK has just been really slow to adjust their prices this season. You look at the Padres guys, all super cheap. Moncada 3.1K is a very solid option. Jimenez 3.7K, so he's a good value. I'd be fine going with a 5-man stack here with the White Sox. I mean, if you're building a bunch of teams tonight, I think that's certainly a way to go. Not going to really be on the Guardians all that much. Jose Ramirez, always a fine option. I think Nailers, maybe 3-man, Ramirez, Naylor, Reyes, go for the upside bats. Don't really want to mess around with much else. And for me, the Guardians only in play if you're making a lot of teams. I'm only making I think 5, 6, 7 teams tonight. So I probably won't get to the Guardians. If you're getting up to that 20, 25 range, I think you can get on some of these guys, but prefer the White Sox over Guardians.
All right, Gary, how about you? Is this a game that you have any interest in? Again, it's not a game that you're looking to play the pitchers. So maybe the bats do become in play for you. Maybe you're playing some of those lefties against Giolito. What's your kind of thoughts here on this one?
I mean, the White Sox are probably one of my favorite stacks on the slate. I don't think Savale is any good. He's got the 3rd highest expected slugging percentage of any pitcher on the slate. He's equally bad against righties and lefties. I've been playing these White Sox for a while. They've been letting me down. I think they're going to give me some money back here today. Timmy Anderson's got 3 or 4 bombs off of Savale. Eloy Jimenez has got 2 or 3 bombs. Moncada hits him well, no bombs, but I think he's batting 600 and 20 plate appearances. So I definitely like this White Sox team. They've seen Savale a lot. They know what he's throwing. So definitely one of my favorites. Savala, he's always one of my favorite catchers at 3,600. He's batting 9th. He won't get much ownership either. So definitely love the White Sox here. And on the Cleveland side, not much for me. I will make a plug for 2K punt Nolan Jones in the outfield. Pretty good prospect for them. Came through for me a couple days ago with 20 DraftKings points. So probably just a one-off type situation right there if I need an extra salary relief that's not in a stack somewhere else. But definitely love the White Sox here today.
Yep, definitely going to be an interesting spot for these White Sox. It's just, man, they can be tough sometimes. That's the only issue, but they have some value throughout their lineup, right? Like Hoop talked about before, Moncada's pretty good at 3.1K. You got Eloy Jimenez, 3.7. So that provides a bit of value. AJ Pollock, 3.3. That's nice. Josh Harrison, 3.4, with a home run yesterday. And at the catch position, Sebi Zavalli. Everyone's going to be playing the Jorge Alferos. They're going to play Kyle H, right? They're going to play Elias Diaz in that range. And Zavalli's just a little slight one-off. And the dude had a 3 home run game this year, right? The guy has upside. So lots to like up and down with that lineup. And I know Hoop likes that too, because he likes when you just roster everyone from the lineup, not when you just look at the 5 through 9, are just guys you can't roster at all. So I think it's not a bad spot for them. Let's go on over to the next game. Let's talk about these Dodgers and the Cardinals. But before we do that, guys, please hit that like, subscribe to the channel, helps us out a ton. We appreciate it over here at Run Pure Sports. That way we can give away those plays of the day. We're at 190 likes and we need 110 more to get to that 300 number. So let's get those likes going. That way we can give out those plays of the day for the people. But Hoop, talk to me about the Dodgers, because it's not a spot I think you're dying to play them, but Wainwright's not a pitcher. He's an older guy. At some point he's going to kind of just fall off, right? And this could be a time where he struggles, right? It's the Dodgers. If you look at matchups that Wainwright might have his struggles this year, it could be against the Dodgers. And of course, there's also weather there. It's nice and hot in St. Louis. It's technically a ballpark upgrade for these Dodgers. So are you on these Dodgers here at their price tag? So the only unfortunate thing about this team is there's not a lot of value, right? The only value plays are I guess Bellinger at 3.6, Lamb at 2.3 isn't bad towards the bottom of the lineup. And then Lux at 3.4. The rest of them, though, all expensive and above 5K. So it might be hard to kind of get them in your lineup. So what's your overall takeaway on the Dodgers here?
Well, that's the problem, is the price tags. And even if you do like them, you got to play them over the Yankees. You got to play them over the Padres bats. And I just don't think I'm willing to do that on this slate. I mean, Mookie Betts is 6.2K. Can I play him over Aaron Judge? No. Can I play both of them? Probably not if I want to spend up at pitcher. Trey Turner, 5.7K. at shortstop. Like, do I want to pay that? No, not really. Freeman, I don't mind at 5-1, and then it would probably have to be some of the guys at the bottom if you want to do it. Max Muncy, Gavin Lux, Cody Bellinger. So again, it's going to be probably 3-man stacks, but you'd have to play some of these guys at the bottom because I just can't, like I said, I can't play Mookie Betts over Aaron Judge. I just can't do it tonight. And I can't prioritize Mookie Betts as a spend over any of those Yankees bats or the Padres premium bats. So it's going to be a pass for me, with the exception of some of these cheaper guys at the bottom of the lineup, like Max Muncy. I kind of like down there batting 7th, 4.1K, and Bellinger I like at 3.6.
All right, Gary, how about you? What are you doing here with this game? Maybe you like some Cardinals against Gonsolin. I know we've had some chatter in the chat about Stevie Boynton saying Gonsolin's going to fall off at some point, and then I don't know, him and Big T went at it on Twitter. It was good times in the premium chat as well. So maybe you do like some Cardinals, or maybe you like some Dodgers. I'm not sure. What are you doing with this game though, Gary? Is this a spot you can get on, or is it just a fade and move on to some other spots?
I feel like Stevie's been saying Gonsolin's going to fall off for the last month, and he still hasn't done it yet. It's probably coming at some point. I just don't think it's going to happen here tonight. So yeah, no St. Louis for me. I have a lot of interest in these Dodgers. I'm playing 50 teams tonight. They're going to be one of my primary 5-man stacks. Adam Wainwright, over the last month, he leads the slate in barrel percentage and hard hit percentage. And the Dodgers are starting to heat up a little bit. In particular, Trey Turner, Freddie Freeman, Will Smith. And then the bottom of the order guys, mix them in. Those are probably my favorite. I'll probably be underweight or fading Mookie Betts just for I like Judge, and I prefer Turner and Freeman at a cheaper price tag here in the stack. So I think Wainwright, I mean, man, he's been getting hit really, really hard, a lot of barrels and a lot of hard hits. That's not really a recipe for success versus a team like the Dodgers, who have been heating up here. So yeah, I like the Dodgers a ton here.
All right, Dodgers it is for Gary. Definitely in play for him. Guys, do want to mention, I haven't talked about the members never win segment, which we've got tons of members winning over here at Rum Pure Sports. So want to kind of give some highlight to those people here that have been doing pretty well over here in the DFS street. So first up, want to talk about Nika. He won 14K in MLB. So congrats to you on that. Then we had a 25K hit and a 20K hit, one from Nuggets and one from Taj, 5050. So, and that hit by Nuggets, that was on the night slate as well. So not just hitting on the main slates, also hitting on all these other slates at Run Pure Sports. So if you haven't signed up and gotten in that Discord chat, get in there. That way you can kind of get all those core plays that we post in there for the night slates as well. Michael Smith won 20K in MLB. Tizier, another 20K in MLB. Then we had a nice 10K hit by Nico22 in the NBA Summer League. So congrats to him. I don't know if you saw yesterday, but Big T still crushing it. Won about 20K in the NBA Summer League yesterday. So congrats to him on that. Uncle T, he hit 15K in PGA Showdown. So congrats to him as well. I think that was on the round 2, using that weather edge angle. Then we had DC. He won 50K in MLB. That was a nice hit from him. And then MA Cox, 1115. 100K he won in PGA. So, hey, we're trying to just get some more shippers this week. So if you haven't signed up at Run Pure Sports, now's the time. Use that code RPSHeater25, get your 25% off. Hoop, I do want to go to you before we go back to these games. Uncle T won that nice 15K hit in the PGA Showdown, and we have tons of PGA Showdown content. And again, it's a major this week. The contests are going to be huge. So tell the people a little bit about some of the Showdown content that we have over here at Run Pure Sports.
Yeah, so we'll have a modified playbook for each round 1, round 2, round 3, and round 4. That's done by Snyder. And then we have like 4 guys at the top that post their cores for each slate. And this is a spot where you can find some weather advantages. Snyder does a great job breaking that down. And then we have our shows for round 2 and round 3. That's part of the Mayo Media Network. So you have to go over there and check that out. And then round 4 is part of our premium product over here at Run Pure Sports. That'll be posted on the website. Just a great breakdown. And the prize pools are going to be massive this week, like you said. So make sure to check all that out.
Yep. Check it all out. Also check the premium show that we're going to have tonight. Again, we're going to have so much stuff going on. So definitely time to sign up right now. Again, use that code RPSHeater25, get you 25% off. But we got a couple games left. Obviously we got to get those likes up, and we got 4 left. So a little bit of time to be able to get that home, get to those 300, but let's talk about this Cubs and Baltimore game, which it is not a Wrigley win game blown out. It's one that's kind of blowing in. And I know Gary was wondering why Steele was 9.2K. Maybe that's why. I'm not sure. Maybe it's good for Spencer Watkins at 5K. Maybe people like to get on to him. But I just don't see myself really getting to this game with the bats. That's the issue. When the wind is blowing in, Hoop, we just don't really play these bats. So, yeah, they might have no ownership, but I don't think we want to play them. How about you?
Yeah, no interest here. I mean, definitely no interest in the Baltimore Orioles. And then you look at the Cubs, and man, these price tags are, you're not getting a break on the prices. Like Wilson Contreras is 5.9K. He's one of the most expensive guys on this slate. Hap 4.3. Like if I'm playing these guys, I want them to be like in the 3K range. Like Patrick Wisdom 4.8K. I just can't get to these price tags. So this game's a fade for me.
Fade for me. Is it a fade for you, Gary? What are you doing here with this game?
Yeah, it's pretty much the same for me. I actually probably would prefer the Baltimore side here. They've just been hitting pretty good. They're on like an 8 or 9 game win streak. All these righties, Mountcastle, Santander, Hayes, Chirinos, they've been hitting lefties pretty well. I probably won't get there, but I don't hate a little Baltimore mini stack. But like I said, I probably won't get there.
All right. Doesn't sound like Gary's getting there. Hoop's not getting there. I'm not getting there. Curious to see if we're getting on this 7.5 total. I don't think we are with John Gray and Paul Blackburn pitching, because Blackburn, he's not a guy I'm looking to play in DFS that much, but he does do a good job to just limit the damage and pitch some pretty clean games. And then John Gray, he's been pretty good, but Oakland is coming off a 14-run game. So Hoop, there's a lot of leverage here, right? Oakland just put up 14 runs, and John Gray is going to have ownership on this slate. Is Oakland a team that we want to get behind on this slate just because, again, we're trying to find some offenses, or do you just say hard pass, it's 7.5 total, and there's other spots you'd rather take a shot on?
Yeah, I'm not going to mess with Oakland. I mean, I just can't do it on this slate. Like John Gray quite a bit. So yeah, no Oakland, but I do have interest in the Rangers. I mean, they've been putting up some runs the last few nights here. I think their lineup's out, right? So like Josh Smith leading off, 2.9K. I definitely like that price tag. You get a catcher down there, 5th, Heim 3.6K. Lowe is cheap at 3.4, and then Seager and Semien in there. And then the last guy who I did have in my core last night, Leody Taveras. This guy is on like a heater, and he just steals bases nonstop. He's had double-digit fantasy points in 4 out of 5 games, a 28 spot, 21 last night. He gets on and he just goes. I don't know much about him. Maybe Gary knows more, but he's still 2K. So really like Taveras down there at 2K flat. Rangers, I'm going to have some heavy exposure to the Rangers here tonight.
All right, Gary, are you going to have any heavy exposure to the Rangers today? Any interest in Leody Taveras? I saw he had a pretty good game like Coop just mentioned yesterday, and I was kind of laughing when I saw it. So what's your thoughts here on this Texas side, Gary?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard not to like a team that's on a heater. Heaters are real in baseball. Josh Smith, I mean, Corey Seager's hit a bomb in each of the last 5 games, I think. Does that continue tonight? It might. 5,100 for him for his recent production is a little cheap, I would think. But yeah, Leody Taveras, just smashing 2K. The Texas Rangers lead all of MLB and stolen bases. Marcus Semien will steal some bags. Is Garcia not in the lineup?
Yeah, he's out of the lineup. Yeah, he's out.
Yeah, they got Nate Lowe in the 4 hole, then Jonah Heim is 5, Cole Calhoun 6.
But yeah, they still swipe bags here quite a bit. I do have some interest in Texas, but no Oakland for me. I can't do it.
All right, let's move on over to the next game, and it's the Coors game. So a lot to talk about. Let's see what the likes are at, though. With 2 games left, we got 223. So we need 75 to get that home, 428 watching. So we got to talk about this Coors slate, though. Got to get those likes up so we can give out those plays of the day when it hits 300. But Hoop, how are you handling this Padres game? It's definitely a good spot. Are we still waiting on that lineup, too? That's the key with them because
just came out. It's Grisham, right. Cronenworth, Machado, Mazzara, Hosmer, Kim, Abrams, Nola, and Ruiz. So there's a ton of cheap guys in this line. And it's so annoying that DK didn't I understand 1 game you miss it, but now the series has gone on 3. This is the 3rd game, and these guys are still 2K. It's unfortunate. Mazzara is going to be super popular. Grisham is 3K. He's going to be super popular. Hosmer is 2K flat. It's silly. So that's like the situation I was talking about earlier. maybe leave some money on the table. Like, don't fill out your entire, salary allotment here, because these guys are all going to be very, very popular. Kim, I don't know. I don't see the price tag on Kim. I'm assuming he's super cheap too. 3-2. So, I mean, all these guys are just way, way underpriced. Like I said, the one way to be a little bit different is to leave money on the table if you're stacking the Padres. Don't pair them up. Maybe don't pair them up with the Yankees and larger field stuff. Look to another team. But it is a tough team to avoid because of the situation in Coors Field, and they're super, super cheap.
Yep, it's definitely hard to ignore these Padres. What about the Rockies? I mean, you didn't talk too much about them. I know Musgrove is not a guy we're picking on, but it still is a Coors game, and that lineup's gross. Like you said, are you fading that or just Padres and then move on?
I'll be fully fading the Rockies. This lineup is terrible. I mean, it's bad. I mean, you got Joe, Iglesias, then Blackman, Rogers, McMahon, Grichuk, and I can't play these guys without Cronin there. And they got to be missing someone else too, because this looks just like really bad. So I'm not playing this.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a bit of a brutal lineup today. Let's go over to you, Gary. Padres, we talked about it, like tons of value. Mazzara, he's 2.1K in the 4-hole. Hosmer, he's 2K in the 5-hole. Abrams, 2K. Nola, 2.8. I mean, Ruiz, 2K. All the value that you want here with this Padres stack, Gary.
Yeah, I mean, it's really like everybody's saying, it's tough to get away from. One thing I will mention is, for whatever reason, Chad Kuhl has been better at home this season than he has on the road. He's allowing a 277 WOBA at home, which is pretty good. So I don't know. I'm probably going to be under the field just because. But yeah, I mean, it's really cheap. I'm going to try to stick with the cheapies from a couple other spots, Texas, Tampa Bay. Rather than play all these mega chalk. I mean, they're like 40-50% on tonight's slate.
Yeah, they'll be.
I mean, that's pretty crazy. So I'm going to probably be under the field. I'm not going to fully fade it. But yeah, and no Colorado. I mean, they're like Hoop said, with Crone out, Chris Bryant's out. Like, I can't do it.
Yeah, Bryant's the other guy. Yeah, I just look at this lineup and you can just tell it's just not good.
All right, it's definitely a rough lineup right now for sure, but definitely one of the bigger talking points on this slate. Obviously, tons of different value plays that you can plug into your lineups to make it unique if you'd like to. I just got to pick the right ones, obviously. And if you do fade it, there is some value in fading it, right? Because if you are off it and it's very high owned, you can gain leverage in other spots and be able to get exposure to other stacks. So definitely a lot of ways that you can go about it. Let's move on over to the last game. Astros and the Angels, 7 total here, and 2 pitchers we like. So I feel like we're just going to cross this game off. Hoop, what's your thoughts here on this?
Zero interest. I mean, probably our consensus, I'd say 2 favorite pitchers when you factor in price. The Angels just recalled Joe Adell. I'm assuming that means Mike Trout is going to be out, which is a big boost to Javier and a massive downgrade to this Angels lineup. Pitchers here, and like no interest whatsoever in the bats.
All right. No interest in that. Gary, how about you? Any interest in this one, or are you just kind of moving on and going to the next game?
That's pretty easy for me. Pretty easy fade.
All right. Easy fade. And then there are no games left. So we got to talk about our stacks. We're at 237 likes. So we got a bunch to push it home. So this is your last chance. Get those plays. If not, throw them in the Discord chat for the people. But let's talk about our favorite stacks in the slate. And let's go to you first, Hoop. Who are the top stacks that you like? Give me like 3 to 4 that you're interested in here on this slate.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any need to name the top ones. The Yankees and Padres are going to be very popular. That's fine. Like, we know that on the slate. Let's talk about a couple that could go a little overlooked. First is going to be the Rangers. I've been playing a lot of the Rangers lately. I actually like this lineup quite a bit and what you can do with it. You know, we talked about Seager on this heater, Semien, Josh Smith, Tavares. So the Rangers are a team I'm going to be looking at. And then the other one, the White Sox, just like their lineup here. I think they can get to Savelli. So those are 2 of the, not as popular teams that I'm looking at here.
All right, let's go over to you, Gary. We don't talk about the Yankees, right? We don't talk about the Padres, kind of like Hoop said. Give me 2 stacks that are your favorite ones on this slate that you're looking to go to.
Man, it's hard to get. I mean, that's a broken record. I think Hoop and I are in lockstep tonight. I do like the Dodgers. They're just going to fall behind the White Sox in Texas for me.
All right. And listen, we're behind on the plays, only 250 likes. So I don't think we're giving out those plays of the day, Hoop. I think we're just going to have to kind of move this thing along. So, we'll give them like one last second to do it, but talk about all the PGA stuff one last time. Like I said before, midnight today, we're going to do a nice little PGA show for the premium members. So if you haven't signed up yet at Run Pure Sports, use that code RPS Heater 25, get you 25% off, and then you can check all out the PGA stuff. But go through it one more time, all the PGA stuff for the people, because it's a major weekend. We're going to get those RPS logos at the top, and we want you there with your RPS logo, hanging out with us up there, winning tons of money.
Yeah, I mean, all the information starting to trickle in. The playbook's been posted. The cash chart has been posted. We have more cores now. As the show has gone on, we got some more cores up on there. It looks like almost half 1, 2, 3, 4. We got AP's core posted, Tambo's core, JSU, and Coop. All those cores posted. We got some tiers posted as well. Mangona, it looks like you're about to dive in there right now. I see your name hovering over your spot.
That's right when we finish the MLB, I'm gonna get all my PGA stuff buttoned up. So that's the plan here.
Yeah, so that'll be coming out, and then Big T's player pool will come out, I'm assuming pretty late tonight, potentially on the show, like you talked about. We're going to be doing a premium show tonight that Mangone's going to head up and take you guys right up to lock for the Night Owls. For me on the East Coast, it's a little bit late, but I will be up building teams later tonight, and then we'll have all our Showdown content dropping for round 1, 2, 3, and 4. So make sure you check it all out.
Yep. Check it all out over here at Run Pure Sports. You don't want to miss out on it. Again, use that code RBS here 25, get you 25% off. But we're going to put those plays of the day in the chat. Obviously, we'll put them in there for the people. We'll have you guys make sure that you know about that. We'll get all the other stuff up, right? We're going to get the core plays up. I'll get my single entry stuff up. The cash chart will be up. Well, the playbook that's already up and live for the people. So all the content will be up there for you guys shortly. But that is going to wrap it up for us here on the MLB Swing for the Fences show. We will have to see you guys next time. But for me, Mangone, Hoop, and Gary, we'll see you guys later.